Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about the season premiere of The 100. A great premiere. Obviously, I figured that they would have to. I thought maybe it'd be something we see later on in the season, but I do appreciate them immediately starting off with an episode kind of being like, yo, what happened in between that time skip? We get actually a little look at it. I was kind of thinking like with the way the episode, I was like, oh, we're going to get the entire like time skip. It's like, nope. You get a good chunk of the episode being about it. Like basically Clark ended up getting out of the lab after like 42 days. And she ends up running into the situation that she kind of brought up during the time skip at the end of season 4, where she was basically like, she tried to go to the bunker, but like there's too much stuff, and we see her trying to attempt that. Because it never crossed my mind, even during, like, I don't think I talked about it at all in season 4's finale. Like, man, how did Clark survive? Especially with everything being the way it is, so much stuff killed by the radiation, and just like the wave itself, so much destruction, like the cities are destroyed and everything. So it's like, how did you do that alone? We see her like being so desperate in points, having to eat bugs. She dug up one of the vehicles and to kind of get around. um, Talking on the radio, even though she knows that none of the people on the ark will ever get it, most likely, but she wants to do it for the sake of her own sanity. Because the sad thing is, it wasn't until the whole bunker attempt that she truly felt alone. Because there was a part of her that's like, no, like she still had hope in everything, but then she started losing hope because it's like when she tried digging, like it ended up caving in and just made things. It's like there's no way I'm gonna get to them, and no one knows I'm up here to try and even come out. So she's kind of stuck on her own, and because she thought she'd be down in the bunker with her mom and everything, but sadly that's not the case. It is kind of interesting why that one specific, like ultimately, because like when it was all said and done, like because obviously we all know Clark survives in and everything, so that's not the point. I think the point was just to really show you how much she struggled, like what she had to go through to kind of survive. And it starts making, it was really heartbreaking when she found that box of Jasper's with his goggles, Maya's like MP3 player, and that letter to Monty, which I would assume that's going to come up into the season later on. But it's like that's got to be so heartbreaking. Because the moment I was like, oh, that's Maya's. I was like, is this Jasper's? The moment they showed the goggles, I was like, Jasper's box. That sucks. Because that even made her start thinking like maybe it isn't worth it. And also got her thinking about other things too. Like for such a long time, the entire time they've been on Earth, it's like no matter what we've done, any people we've killed, it's all been for something. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, all those other people we've ever gone up against, have all had their own reasons too. They had the exact same reason as us. That ultimately it comes down to survival of the fittest. Because it's always like, the whole thing has always been about find your humanity afterwards. That you just fighting to. There has to be more than just surviving. Essentially, it's kind of a thing that kind of comes together after that. Because the whole humanity thing, now that I'm saying that out loud, it's like no, that's more about just surviving. But it's always like, oh, there has to be more beyond that. But it's like now even Clark's like, is there anything beyond that? And like, I mean, that's all anyone has ever done under these circumstances is try and survive. I was actually kind of surprised when she met Maddie, because something that did come up in my mind, like subsequently after the season 4 finale, like I kept thinking, like, is she supposed to be Clark's daughter? It wasn't until much later on, but now in retrospect, it's like, well, no, because it's like I said, it's been a while since I saw the finale, so I'm like, I was thinking in my head, I was thinking she was younger than what she actually is. She has to be like what, 12 or 13 at most, but it turns out she's like a Nightblood herself, but which I would have assumed that Luna was going to be. I thought Luna was the last of them. Turns out not to be the case. I mean, this seems like it's a clan on its own that like ended up dying too. So I guess it's a situation of she just happened to be a Nightblood amongst them. What's kind of interesting is she went after Clark, calling her a Flamekeeper. I guess she figured if Clark was still alive that she was a Flamekeeper. Didn't realize, like, maybe in her mind it's like, oh, like, it was Clark that brought the wave that ended up killing everybody. Hence the whole Flamekeeper thing. But it's like, no, I guess after seeing Clark bleed, it's like, oh, you're a Nightblood. So, what's also interesting too about that whole circumstance is, once again, like, how is that valley protected? I guess it just the wave missed it. The radiation hit, but it's like, because everywhere else, the waters have been just completely dried up. Everything's kind of desolate and almost a desert. So it's like, how did that, I mean, I don't know if that's something they'll ever kind of refer to. I do like that everyone on the ark kind of refers to it as Eden. I mean, it's like the one spot untouched, which once again, hopefully we kind of find out the reason why that is. Cause like even Clark's like, I don't know why that is. So there has to be a specific reason why, but I don't know. But I do immediately like the fact is that her and Maddie didn't start off on the best of terms. But we do see immediately as they kind of get to a good place, time skips to 6 years later. So, like I said, kind of, I was like, oh, I thought this was always going to be about that. But it's like probably over the course of the season, we might get little flashbacks and stuff between Clark and Maddie in that entire time. Or it's just kind of like, I mean, because I think the biggest focus was to show Clark's desperation because she was on her own. But now she had Maddie. It's just like, okay, she's not on this alone. She's got someone to help her. She's got someone to look after. Like, she has something worth living for now, because she was like, what was the point? Like, she doesn't know if her friends are still alive. She doesn't know about the bunker situation. So she was like all alone. It's like, how am I going to survive this for 5 years? But now she has a reason, because she has someone else to kind of fight and live for too. So, but I do also like the fact is that she was telling her certain stories, like from her, the book of all the drawings that Clark had. She's like, how did you not think the Sky Ripper was going to not win the conclave? Obviously referencing Octavia. So that was kind of a nice touch. But also with all of that, we end up meeting, like, going to the Ark, seeing where things are, the bonds kind of being where they are for everyone. New looks. Obviously, Monty's got his haircut and everything. And just kind of like the bond between them. Obviously, things are a little murky for Imori and Murphy, which is so interesting because they were like the two closest people under the circumstances prior to us getting to this time skip. Apparently, he said it's just because like he doesn't like the fact is that they have so many rules, so he spent time on a different part of the Ark. Beyond that, we don't really know, but I guess it's just like, I guess for Murphy, it's something that Bellamy kind of speaks on, is like, you're afraid of not being the hero. It's like, here, there's no heroes amongst us, and you're afraid of kind of being useless again. So maybe it more, like, because the way Raven was kind of poking fun at him, it's like, oh, she kind of make you feel like inadequate. So I guess it's a situation of, she became more useful than him, and it just made him jealous, I guess. It's kind of how they're painting it. Like, I mean, maybe we'll kind of get a clearer picture. I ended up finding out about, like, Bellamy and Echo being a thing. It's like, it took him a while, apparently like 3 years, but he eventually forgave her for everything that she did. And obviously one big rule is don't talk about the situation or trying to, like, get everything fixed to go back to Earth, go back to the ground. Because Raven's been trying her hardest in all that time. In Bellamy's case, he's like, yeah, 6 years and 7 days, which, it's sad because it makes Raven like feel like, oh, she's not doing, obviously she's doing everything she can and she wants to help too, but it just kind of downs the mood a little bit. So, but I like what they did with the art too, because they've immediately set up the fact is every day, like with everything that's happened, everyone has changed on many different levels. Obviously you have Clark and Maddie's situation, and you also have the art because they both have changed in their own regards and they've liked things the way they are. Like in the Ark's case, it's like, they're all afraid. In particular, Monty, he's like, everything he ever had to do on the ground. He killed his mom. He let Jasper kill himself. It's like, I don't want to have to be that person again. And that's what he's most afraid of going back to the ground. Is like, because he's trying to find reason like, oh, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that because of that. Because he doesn't know if he can be that person. He doesn't want to. And same thing for Echo, because she's afraid of, like, for her, it's like, what's left for me? I was banished. There's no way Octavia is going to forgive me. And Bellamy's like, yeah, she will. Like, she never really, it took a while for her to kind of finally forgive, Bellamy too, but Echo's a different situation because no matter what, Bellamy's family, which under this circumstances, like, well, maybe Echo will be counted as family too. But I think the fact that they've introduced that so early means that's going to be a concept we're going to be dealing with heavily, like them adapting, because they built this lives for themselves up there. They were happy, safe, and content, and now it's like coming back to the ground, things will change, whether they want them to or not, because because not only them, everyone under these circumstances is shame. Could we even hard cut to Octavia and there's like fights amongst people? It seems like potentially fights to the death, but it's like, why are you I guess it's a situation so people can get their aggression out, because like it's been 5 years and if people didn't have an outlet, they would have just gonna go crazy. But I guess to get some form of entertainment, it's just kind of interesting that anyone would kind of let that go. I'm curious, it seems like she's the one that's kind of leading everything, but I wonder, does she have, like, obviously you would assume someone like Indra would be part of her council, but I'm wondering, is it the same thing for someone like Marcus or whatever, being like one of her counselor or not. I don't know. Like if that's going to be something, because most of the people we saw were grounders. We never actually saw any of the Sky Crew in that particular regard. So maybe they kind of stayed to their own under these circumstances. I mean, I don't know. We didn't get much of a look. But I think that's supposed to represent like, oh yeah, I mean, Octavia's changed too. She might not be in the forgiving type. She might not be the forgiving mood under these circumstances. We don't know. Like we only get that little shot of everything at the very end of the episode. So, but obviously a big focus of this episode too is our newcomers. They are prisoners led by we don't know her character's name yet, but the actress is Ivana. I'm not going to attempt to say her last name because I'm going to butcher it. It's I was about to, but I'm not going to. Obviously, it's the thing I best know her from, because she's been in a lot of things, but the thing I best know her from is, like, playing Anna. Obviously, she's carrying most of the series, but from Banshee, so that's pretty cool. I didn't even know she was a part of this until, like, I saw the trailer that dropped, like, a month or two that dropped. It's been a little while, but it's still fairly recent, like the official trailer for season 5 dropped. But obviously I won't reference anything in here just because in case anyone, like for one, it's been a while, so I've kind of forgotten a little bit of some of the stuff I saw, but even in that, there's some stuff I do remember, so I'm going to avoid talking about it just in case anyone wants to kind of go into this season knowing as little as possible. So I'm just not going to mention anything. But that was kind of me wondering about their whole deal, because it's like, okay, I thought the whole Ark situation was the last of humanity. I mean, to be fair, we kind of went into the past of the Ark in season 3. So not less they were like people that were put on a ship and just like, okay, you're not following the rules. Like, you're bad people. You're like the baddest of bad. So we're shipping you off on your own, like way distant in the past. So maybe they kind of had their own Ark situation of generations had passed while they were, because 100 years had passed for the Ark to be in under its circumstances. So maybe the same thing applied for this prisoner ship. Because apparently, like, for them to wake, because apparently it's like, oh, we woke up, like, find out what happened to our Earth, our home while we were asleep. So I'm guessing it's like they were in cryo sleep. So maybe they were making their way back after all this time. Maybe they heard about what the Ark was doing. Well, there was that lady back in season 1, season 2, who was trying to make her, that might have been season 2, who was trying to take over the council and tried to make her escape. Like, they were kind of, they basically were willing to screw over everyone on the Ark to make it so that they could get down, because they were kind of like a rebellious group, whatever the case may be. Sadly, they ended up dying. Like, they ended up crashing and dying. Like, that was their whole thing. Maybe this group is connected to that. I don't know. Like I said, that's a storyline from a long time ago. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that was season 2, so it might have no correlation at all. Like I said, it might be a distant thing. Because it's like, at what point in time would it, like I said, because that's what I'm like, this is supposed to be the last of humanity, so who the hell are you guys? Like, that's why I was kind of like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Like, when I was talking about season 4 finale. But now, sitting here thinking about it, I think that makes the most logical sense. We'll see about that, And it's interesting, too, because Clark took note of it, too. It's like, their weapons are interesting. It's not like typical weaponry. So is it stuff that they made themselves or what? Like, because I mean, I don't think the show would go as far as like alien stuff. So that has to be stuff that they manufactured themselves. The reason why the guns look so, because she even had those drawings and she had one of the guns and she kind of, because she was labeling, seeing what, because she had checked them out, which is like, shows you how good Clark is, because she was analyzing what kind of weaponry they had. And even one of the weapons, she drew it and she had a big question mark, like, I don't know what the hell that is or what it does. So there's also the situation about the guys that tried to attack them. Obviously, one guy was like, don't kill her, like, kill Maddie. She's just a little girl. But it's like, oh, we're going to show her. So the dude ends up getting shot. Maddie ends up killing that guy, which I can only assume this is Maddie's first time ever killing anyone, which is like, that stuff never sits well with you, especially being so young under these circumstances. But it kind of fits the whole situation of this. It is survival of the fittest. There's no, like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you have to survive. You're going to have to do things you're not going to want to do. And you see Clark, it's like, Maddie's like, no, he's actually a good guy. But Clark's like, there are no good guys, and puts down the other dude like it was nothing. Once again, showing you that Clark has changed. Like, Clark, to be fair, being on her own for so long and then eventually having Maddie, because for her right now, Maddie's all that matter. Who cares about anyone else? I don't know you. You're potentially a threat. I will take you down. You will not hurt this person that I care about. So that's kind of the mindset that Clark has. So I think that's kind of kept her going these past, legitimately 6 years. So like I said, this is a great opener. Like I said, they kind of immediately kind of get, like I said, I wasn't even expecting things to kind of get rolling. I was expecting the episode to end with where season 4's finale ended. I thought that's where we're going to end on this episode, and then it's like a next episode we kind of, it's like, no, like half the episode was about the time during that, the early days, like because how long was she? It was like when she made that next recording, it was like 52 days. So we got to see roughly like what, maybe 10 days for Clark. All that stuff she did, it was like 52 or 56. So it's like anywhere between like 10 to 14 days. No, whatever the case may be. I'm literally lazy to do the math. I know that's so sad, but yeah, we didn't actually get that huge chunk of a look. I mean, and like I said, over the grand course of everything. Also, that whole situation where I didn't even talk about it, like when that bear trap got our leg, and she had it's like, ugh, that looked mad rough, So, like I said, already I'm very excited to see what goes down in this season, to see how much everyone has changed and see what direction the show takes. Because obviously it is that circumstance again of someone else has come here to claim things as their own, and it's like, no, this is our land, and so it's going to get turned into a big fight. But the thing is, with so many people have changed, like, are people going to be willing to give these things a chance? It's like, oh, Clark as she is, will she be willing to like set things aside and be like, oh no, let's talk? Clark has always tried to be the rational one in the past, but under these circumstances, maybe she won't be. I mean, there have been plenty of cases that have kind of pushed Clark to be like, no, I'm not the rational one. I mean, especially being the quote unquote commander of death and everything. So it's like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see what goes down this season, but in particular, what's going to go down in the next episode. I'm very excited to find out. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good